Grazie. Allora passiamo allo step successivo, cioè come massimizzare l'efficienza delle GPU. Le scienze della vita, lo sappiamo, richiedono una enorme mole di dati, anche lo studio del genoma umano, cioè tutto ciò che ci riguarda e che ci aiuterà a vivere meglio in longevità e in salute si basa esclusivamente sulla capacità di diciamo, integrare in qualche modo formazione e inferenza e di elaborare questa enorme massa di dati. Paul Bloch è il cofondatore e presidente di Data Direct Networks, che è un'azienda leader mondiale nel settore dell'intelligenza artificiale e dell'analisi dei dati, la più grande azienda privata al mondo nel settore dello storage, e lui appunto è colui che l'ha fondata e che riesce in qualche modo a plasmare, diciamo, l'infrastruttura del calcolo ad alte prestazioni.
You didn't like the mic. Good morning, everybody. Buongiorno tutti. We love Italy. You know, I love the US, I love France, I love Italy. I love the food in Italy. I had a chance to go in a trattoria last night. It was raining like hell. Took me 2 hours from the airport, but I still enjoy my Italian food, so it was great. First and foremost, I would like to thank, this is a great event. I mean, a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friendly faces, people we've been working on for many years. I want to thank first Cosimo Gianfreda and the team at E4 for really putting together this event. It's important. It's important for us to be able to come in and share you know, what's going on, not just in the US, but really become European, help Europe develop, Italy, Europe. It's going to be super important to create intelligence locally. Thank you, Rod, for all this. I mean, you probably covered half of my presentation anyway. So I think first I would like to understand, my name is Paul Bloch. I'm a president and co-founder of DDN. I like to say that we're a 27-year-old startup, right? So people in the morning, they tell me, Paul, why are you still doing this? I'm like, well, it's never been as exciting as now. So everybody comes to me and says, when are you going to retire? I'm like, retiring? What are you talking about? I'm actually working twice as hard as I was working a year ago. And I thought I was working hard at the time, right? Which is kind of scary, but interesting. So first, as a show of hand, right? I mean, how many of you people in the room have been doing HPC for many years? Oh, not that many. Okay, great. Who's implemented AI already in your organization? Who is planning to implement AI in the organization? Oh, that's not many. So there's a bunch of you people, I don't know what you're doing here because you're not using AI, and you're not, so you should go and get some coffee and croissant, maybe it's like a, so anyway. So Rod and the team at NVIDIA spoke about, you know, the infrastructure and really the incredible revolution happening in GPU, in network, in acceleration of innovation. And to do this, yes, you do need NVIDIA. And the other large component that you need is the data portion, right? It's the data storage, the data intelligence. And although, quite frankly, nobody cares about it, right? I mean, we tend to speak to customers and say, I'm going to buy GPUs. You know, I'm going to buy a shitload of GPUs. And that's all I care about. Well, at the end of the day, you got to feed those GPUs, and you got to make basically your investment valuable. And this is what DDN does, right? We take basically a few % of your investment, and we make it more valuable, more efficient, and we return basically dollars. Nowadays, when customers tell me, well, how much is DDN? I'm like, it's free. It's actually, we return money to you. Because our cost of our portion of the system is probably going to be about 5%. But we're going to provide 20% more efficiency at the overall system. And as you saw, which is pretty incredible from Rod, at the stage and the way, you know, it's mind-boggling, right? I don't know if you have, anybody followed actually on the amount of GPUs coming over the next 2-3 years? It's insane, right? So that's what's coming. It's not stopping. Yeah, it's a very fast-moving train, and we better hop on. Now, the good news, for some of you guys who are here figuring out, you know, what can I do with the HPC, AI, and quantum, it's a great market. It's a great situation. It's a great way to enhance your career, to learn, to adopt it, to approach it, and to become professional at it, right? A lot of people say, am I going to get replaced by AI? No. It depends on you, right? If you adopt the tool, understand it, you're going to add efficiency, you're going to add value, and you will become more invaluable. If you don't, yeah, you're probably going to get replaced, which is sad, but it is what it is. So what we're in the middle is a creation. Wow, I'm getting a lot of a multi-trillion-dollar economy is being created, right? This is absolutely phenomenal. And if you look at it, right, in the center, you have DDN, you have NVIDIA first, then you have DDN for the data intelligence part. And then all around, what you have is foundational models. The foundational models are going to keep on growing, right? If you look at it, 2-3 years ago, when we spoke to the foundational models, they said, well, you know, once we have 50,000 GPU, 100,000 GPU, we're okay, we're fine. Then 6 months later, it was 200,000 GPU. Then 6 months later, right, Roddy's smiling, it was 500,000 GPU. And now if you look at the recent announcement from OpenAI, right, just a few math, right, NVIDIA is investing $100 billion in OpenAI, right, who's in turn going to buy, obviously, a lot of GPUs and infrastructure. But you're talking about 10 gigawatt of infrastructure. 10 gigawatt of infrastructure represents about 4 million GPUs today, right? It might be less now because of the performance and efficiency, but it's massive, and it's not going to stop. So you have the foundational models, you have the data toolset, the middleware. All this needs to be delivered on-prem or in the cloud, right? So it needs to be seamless, right? Right, you said it's on. We don't care where it's coming from. Or it can come from on-prem if you want to be super efficient and basically can control and have the team to do it. You can also serve it in multi-cloud, and you also now have access to what we call neo-clouds, which is NVIDIA-specific cloud providers, right? So what they've done is that they're super efficient, and they can also create requirements for your particular needs. So people like CoreWeave, FluidStack, Nscale, Scaleway, and so forth. And then you have the infrastructure player. Obviously, if you're in Italy, you're going to buy everything from eQuattro, right? Cosimo. And then you basically, Cosimo is going to basically then in turn integrate with this team from infrastructure vendor like Dell, Lenovo, Supermicro, and so forth, right? And then they're going to buy DDN for data storage and data intelligence. So, like Rod was saying, right, AI is redefining the economy completely, right? From public sector to the AI cloud provider to financial services, healthcare, automotive, energy. It's already doing it, right? Banks, high-frequency trading. You know, if you spoke to a high-frequency trader 2 years ago, they would have told you, we'll never buy one GPU, right? I was in meeting and they were saying, no way, we'll never buy one GPU. Today, they're buying GPUs at the rate of 50,000, 100,000 GPUs at a pop, right? To basically completely retransform and basically create a new company and obviously value and make more dollars, efficiency, and so forth. So banks, financial services, healthcare, super important, right? Personalized treatment, accelerated treatment, automatic surgery, I mean, so on and so forth. We all need it. The costs are skyrocketing. We're going to need to figure out a way to serve people better, faster, and in a more efficient way. Automotive, I mean, we serve companies like Tesla, Volvo, Zenuity, Peugeot, you name it. Obviously, Fiat, Ferrari are customers, right? And these guys are doing both in terms of efficiency of manufacturing, digital twin, but also in terms of improvement of the car, improvement of technologies on driving all the way to autonomous. I'm not sure you're never going to want a autonomous Ferrari, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think I want that, but right? So, and then what you have is, what's important is really HPC, right? For those of you who've been in HPC, this is invaluable. What we're finding is there's not enough experts in the AI space. And an HPC expert is already an AI expert, right? So you should embrace it. Sometimes I have discussions like HPC, I speak to HPC guys, and yes, they've done it, yes, they're very knowledgeable, yeah, they've done, and they're like, you know, AI, let's see what happens. No, it's over. You should embrace it. You should actually really bridge and converge and take the best of HPC and implement it in AI. And then you'll be super successful. We've implemented in France, for example, at Idris, one of the first supercomputers in France, right? They actually did something right at the time. They put 50, 100 million on the table 3, 4, 5 years ago and said we're going to basically accelerate the procurement, accelerate everything else, and provide some AI infrastructure and technologies to French people. And what they saw is they saw an incredible adoption of the infrastructure. They saw that within basically a month, 70% of the machine was used for AI, right? Net new technologies, net new economy. So research, it's about creating intelligence. The old continent has great engineers, right? So we need to use this and leverage this to create more intelligence and keep it obviously sovereign and benefit from the countries. Now the step-by-step, high-performance computing, we've been doing high-performance for 20, 25 years. We've actually been partners with eQuattro for 20 years, which is crazy, right? Cosimo was reminding me that it's been 20 years, 2005, where we did our first implementation together. A lot of very happy customers, a lot of production done, and we look forward to doing much more. Then we went to Gen AI, Enterprise AI, Sovereign AI. Sovereign AI is really the core right now. That's where we're at, right? AI factories, gigafactories, basically implementing at the government, but as well at the industry level, that you do need to accelerate. It's a race, right? It's super important. And we're just at the beginning of it. People think we're back in the middle of it. We're at the infancy of basically AI, of what we're seeing with our customers. Agentic AI and then physical AI. All this will require data. All this will require data intelligence. All this will require data. It's going to enable you to monetize the data, to be able more efficient, and the data will be basically everywhere, right? It can be on-prem, in the cloud, multi-cloud. So you need to have an idea of first performance, right? Because at the scale of the amount of GPUs that you're deploying, you're going to need infrastructure that follows and actually augments that technology. This is what DDN does. Very well proven for the past 20, 25 years all over the world. And then you need more data intelligence above it and no limits of, number of objects, number of billions, The same way, if you look at financial models, you're talking about multi-tens of trillions of parameters. It's not going to stop. You're going to have real-time video. You're going to have, it's just insane what we're saying. And so at that point, choosing the right data storage partner is going to be crucial for you, although it's just a very small line item on that purchase order. So we would love, obviously, to share with you and show you what DDN can do. So railroads, internet, and now we have AI, right? And AI, yes, it's about the infrastructure. But we're seeing it day in, day out. When you don't have the right data storage, the right data intelligence behind to feed your GPUs, once you get to scale, you're not getting the efficiency of your system. Why? Because you have several factors. You have data collection, you have data preparation, you have model training, you have and then you have agentic AI. An example is that, historically right now, we have a technology called Exascaler, which really delivers really the workhorse for all the major multimodal training out there. So we've deployed, I'll share about it later, but basically, literally, we have systems now running at tens of terabytes per second of reads and writes. So I don't know if that means anything to you, but literally, we are reading and writing 10, 20 terabytes per second. And DDN is very unique because we're basically balanced. We don't care if you read, we don't care if you write, we don't care if it's small files, big files, metadata. We've resolved it. We've been doing it for 20 years. So that's basically what you get. You get a low-risk implementation and very fast time to production with your NVIDIA that get obsolete very quickly, right? So the big difference between HPC and AI is that, HPC, you take 3 years to write the RFP, you buy the machine, you take a year to deploy. That time is over, right? That time is over. You need to put that machine up in production and get productivity out of it ASAP. You're talking about 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks max. Otherwise, you're wasting money. So this is basically the new, the new reality. In data preparation, what we're finding is people have billions and billions and billions and billions of objects. And there's some reality, right? And so before doing a simulation, you need to be able to find which objects you want to simulate on. That's a simple example, right? And so some of our customers at massive scale came to us and said, well, it's taking too long. right? So what we're able to do, for example, is accelerate that by a factor of 400. So instead of taking, for example, 5 minutes to find the objects that they wanted, it went down to literally 5 seconds. So a lot of matters, we're still, so that's the other advantage of working with DDN, is the fact that if you're at scale, we basically have all the engineering on staff, and we want to learn about what you're creating. We want to learn about your idiosyncrasies, and we want to basically get better at the same time as you are. So GPUs compute, yes, but the data delivers the consumer and the business value. And you look at all these various fields, right, from AI cloud providers, foundational models, autonomous driving, healthcare, financial services, so on and so forth. All these guys have massive amount of data. They create massive amount of data, and it's just starting. We're getting to the era of full unstructured data, right? We're taking in the era of text to video, right? We're seeing massive requirements now in text to video. You'll be able to create a video or a movie, over the next couple of years, right? Just by being very good at prompting. Right? Prompting super important, right? They should teach a class on prompting. But that's what we're saying. In terms of gigafactories, right? Like Rod was mentioning, Europe is trying to, is waking up, is moving, and we hope that actually the procurements and the implementation of AI, really, the RFPs is just a way, but the implementation of AI is going to happen very quickly, because we're seeing US and China move extremely fast. Europe has to catch up. I mean, there's a unique opportunity, and they have to catch up. Now, even if commercial organizations now are dwarfing the investment of government, the governments have to make their part, the governments have to implement it, have to accelerate it for science, for the future, basically. So what we're seeing in Italy, right, we're partnering with E4, Cineca, ENI, Leonardo. We also have projects at Fiat, Ferrari, and so forth. So we're implementing locally a lot of projects. We're working with banks, we're working with basically healthcare and universities in Bologna or in Milano on their next generation deployment. But clearly, having a sovereign AI, having your data reside in the country, being able to create this and manage your intelligence is going to be super important. So what does 1 million GPU mean, right? I mean, we're seeing, now commonly 100,000 GPUs, 5,000 GPUs, and so forth. So give you an idea of metrics, right? You can put, up till probably a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, 1 megawatt, 5 megawatt was a great facility. I mean, I used to visit TAC or, HPC, and they were like, wow, we're building a 1 megawatt building, right? Well, today people speak about a gigawatt like it's nothing. In 50 megawatts, you can implement how many GPUs, Rod? That's a 50 megawatt. I know the number, so I can help you on it.
25,000 GPUs.
Yeah, it's about 20,000, 25,000 GPUs. That's 50 megawatts, right? In a gigawatt, multiplied by 20, you basically have about 500,000 GPUs. That's what people are doing. And today, data center power is basically the obstacle to the deployment, right? People want to be able to deploy. They're buying NVIDIA GPUs like crazy, but they cannot deploy fast enough because of power, space, and so forth. So that's the first step, right? So this, I think, is going to get resolved, or we're seeing basically a lot of capabilities and availability coming in early 26, all the way through 26 and 27, and then there might be a glut. We don't know yet, but I mean, there's a lot of people building gigawatts everywhere in the world. So it's quite interesting. So 1 million GPU, you need to model train, you need to do inferencing, you need to basically create all your AI workloads and the whole suite. And in order to do this, again, having access and being able to deploy and manage as much data, so this is really irrelevant as far as you're concerned, it's fully transparent, that's what we do. And as we've been basically working extremely hard with NVIDIA, we started working with NVIDIA about 10 years ago. One fun fact is each time a GPU, which is actually good for us business-wise, but each time NVIDIA delivers a new GPU, they basically acquire a set of DDN systems to test against it. So we're the only platform that NVIDIA tests at full scale, so that they can actually give you the numbers, the MLPerf numbers, the IO5 number, the IO500 numbers, all their basically data stack, CUDA, and so forth is tested against DDN technologies in NVIDIA. we are part of DGX Cloud, right? If you saw DGX Cloud, this is basically the cloud that NVIDIA delivers to their customer. We are part of this in technology as well. So it's all turning into software as well, right? Historically, we've been deploying complete appliances, with hardware, software, because people wanted one throat to choke and so forth. And it's moving into software deployment. It's moving into portability, into data portability, so you can buy the hardware from any vendor you decide, and then you basically manage the software which has been certified and tested. And so what we did a few months ago at the time of GTC with NVIDIA, we took a rack within AWS, right, a RAG rack, doing Milvus simulation. And the only thing we did was, instead of pointing to the S3 object of AWS, we pointed to Infinia, which is our new inferencing technology, right? And literally, within, I guess, a few days, we got, what we saw is 22x time to result. That means that literally the simulation, the rack simulation, would take 22x less time than it took, and it costs about a third less of GPU time, right? So you're talking about almost a 60 times different just by pointing to a different infrastructure, data infrastructure and technology that we provide. And this was on AWS straight up. So that's what we want to do also, again, with you. So DDN, again, we were the first reference architecture, probably still the best. If you look at NVIDIA, they now have good, better, best. Why? Because good could not make it the best, right? And obviously, NVIDIA needs to work with various partners. They need to work with NFS providers for enterprise, for entry enterprise AI. But DDN is the only provider that can deliver all the way through best, no matter what, right? And we didn't have to basically circumvent or limit our systems or try to push our system to do that. So NVIDIA, largest customer for DDN in 21, 22, 23. Then in 24, xAI became our largest customer. So xAI is a single customer with close to an exabyte of our implementation. In twofold. One, doing all the major training, workhorse, checkpointing, data collection, and so forth on Exascaler, which is about 250 petabyte, running at about 20 terabyte a second. And then we have Infinia for inferencing, AI workload, fine-tuning of Grok 3, which is on Infinia, which is our latest technology coming about. We recently, like a lot of providers, now we absolutely need to work with hyperscalers. And we announced actually a 1P offering with Google. So if some of you guys want to basically experience or try to do some AI workload, you don't have access to GPUs, you don't have access to anything, you can literally just go to GCP and start using DDN managed Lustre to be able to run efficiently some of your AI workloads and techniques. And then, we just got commitments. Some of the neo clouds are delivering, obviously, a lot of system and value to their customers with DDN, and that'd be Mistral, Nebius, Nscale, and so forth. So we're present about all these. We also implement, with a lot of universities, with a lot of various different hospitals, research hospitals. We deliver all the research, for example, for St. Jude's. We're creating a lot of it. This is actually a very good video we're working on. Very emotional, but actually very exciting in the sense of the work that we've been able to do in HPC and AI with them. So if you look at DDN, right, 1,200 people, 800 engineers, privately held, profitable. So we do what's right for our customers, right? We've been profitable for the past 15 years, so we develop technologies, we develop new technologies, and now we're in the core of AI, and we're super excited. So 11,000 customers. Today, I think we're probably about feed close to 1 million GPU. My guess is probably going to double or triple over the next 12 to 18 months. We operate globally. Much faster. I think the name of the game historically for DDN has been performance. If you look at the latest IO 500 numbers, we deliver 10x the performance, much less power, much denser than any other system in the world. But I think what you will see from DDN as well over the next 12 months is a lot of enterprise functionality, right? Basic enterprise functionality, data plane orchestration, making it easier to do multi-cloud data versatility. And so we're excited. We're excited to be here. We want to work with Italy. And actually, if you don't believe...
NVIDIA is powered by DDN. It's great partnering with you. You build amazing technology, really amazing technology, and without DDN, NVIDIA supercomputers wouldn't be possible. And now we're taking our partnership into a new frontier, into the world of enterprise.
Thank you, Ifor. Appreciate it.